Thank you very much. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, I think so, Sithule.
Okay, right. I'm gonna switch on another video just so you guys can. Oh, you still can't see me, can you? Right. I'm gonna try and pick on here. So I don't know whether you can all see me. Good afternoon, and thank you guys for having me for this cooking session. Just to say, I'm not good at cooking on Zoom. This is my first time, so bear with me. If what I'm saying you can't see, just say to me, can you move closer? So give me instructions as I go along. And if there's anything that anybody doesn't understand, let me know, and then I can explain for you. So my name is Sithule, and I am from Young Minds Together, Mama Africa, Rima. So most organizations in Rotherham I work for, and most people know me. I also do catering at events sometimes when I've got time. So it is my pleasure to actually share with you the recipe that I love to cook because it's easy and it's quick. So if all goes well, we should be done our cooking within 1 hour. Right, so without further ado, the first thing that I always do when I do my cooking is wash my hands. So if I disappear from the screen, it's because I'm washing my hands. Okay, so can we all wash our hands? Okay, and I always keep my towel with me close by here. Right, so this is my flour. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to prepare the flour for the buns, but then we will cook the buns after, so that while we're cooking the mincemeat and we're cooking the chakalaka, the flour will be getting ready for us. So I've got my 2 cups of flour. Unfortunately, I won't be able to see you guys if you're ready. So I will be assuming I will try and be slow. If I may be too quick, please let me know and tell me to slow down. Okay, so I will start with preparing the flour. So are we all ready with our flour, guys? Right, I'll take
that
as
a
yes. Right, so.
How much flour?
Sorry, love.
How much flour?
2 cups.
2 cups.
2 cups of flour. 2 cups. 2 cups. 2 cups of flour. Trudy, if you can hear me, can you even type on the chat, please, for me?
Yes, no problem.
Right, or I'll try and upload. Right.
So 2 cups of flour, Sithule, and what are we doing with the flour? Just putting it in a bowl?
Okay, thank you very much. And then I've got my half a teaspoon salt. So we add our half a teaspoon salt to the flour.
Okay, guys, so the Himalayan salt is that, Sithule?
Yes, just putting it in the bowl. So in a bowl where we're gonna mix it. So just a medium-sized bowl where we're going to mix all the ingredients in it.
Yeah. Okay, so 2 cups of flour.
Yes, it is. You can use any salt. If anybody doesn't have Himalayan salt, it's fine. You can use any salt. Right, then we mix our dry ingredients together. Right. Then we take our eggs, our 2 eggs.
Just 1 second.
I normally crack my eggs using a knife because I'm really not good at cracking eggs. So just put a little hole in the middle of the flour and just put the egg in. So it's both our 2 eggs.
Okay, so just if anybody's missed any of that, 2 cups of flour, a little bit of salt, and then make a hole in the middle of the flour, and you're cracking 2 eggs into that
Yes.
hole.
Yep. And have warm water as well, because we are going to need a bit of some warm water.
Boiling water. Boiling
Warm
water.
water, yeah. Not too hot, so the water should just be medium warm.
How much water do they need, Sithule?
I usually say 1 cup, but we might not even need to use the full cup. So we'll be pouring bit by bit.
Okay, so some lukewarm water, not boiled, but warm, just 1 cup ready.
Yeah. Okay, so now we can start mixing our eggs into the flour. So we do it as if we are like folding our flour onto the egg, or the other way around.
And the name of this dish, Sithule, is this, its official name, Chakalaka, is that right?
Right, Chakalaka is the carrot ones. This one is called the buns. They're called fat cooks. We call them fat cooks. But these dishes, they go together.
Okay.
So we call it a Chakalaka meal, yeah. Right, so we can start pouring our water just a little bit, not too much, and mix.
So just add a little bit of water to that mixture now.
Yep. Then our mix is still a bit too hard, so we pour a little bit more.
What type of consistency should we be looking for, Sithule?
It's just like a smooth, a little bit runny, smooth, yeah, smooth, a bit runny, but not too runny. So, yeah, I'll show you in a minute. If it still feels too hard, then you keep pouring just tiny bits of water, because you don't want, if you accidentally put too much water, it might become too runny. Still a little bit.
And whereabouts does this dish originate from, Sithule?
It originates from Southern Africa. So I'm originally from Zimbabwe, and this is where we cook all this.
So it's quite a popular dish, is it, in Zimbabwe?
It is a very popular dish, yes. Most people like it when they're doing barbecues. So during like the summertime, because now in Southern Africa it is summer, so this is the time where they do cook a lot of chakalaka.
I like the name.
Okay. Right, so just a little bit more. So from my size of the glass, I've got just under half of the water used, and that is enough for me. Yeah.
Is there any way you can hold your bowl up, Sithule, so people can see the consistency of yours?
Right, yeah, I was hoping
trying to look.
Can you see now? Can you see?
Yeah, just lift that spoon again. Lift the spoon again so that we can see it coming off the spoon.
Yeah, like that. Yeah?
Yeah, so that's the type of consistency we need.
You have to heat it until it becomes really smooth, because it's not that smooth at the moment.
Get them arm muscles working.
Oh, yes. So it's a good workout for getting ready to have a lovely dish afterwards.
Unfortunately, I'm not cooking this one because Ant's cooking it this week, and I'm going to do next week's. One of us needs to.
All right, you can cook it at home afterwards.
Yeah. Well, I think I might come round to yours, Sithule, and just eat yours.
Oh, yes. Yes, you can come and pick up some for you to have a taste. Right, so this is the consistency. Can we all see?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, so once we've got that ready, we just put it on the side and let it sit, because what we're doing here is we want the salt and the sugar to actually get into the mix. Because sometimes as soon as after you've mixed it, the salt and the sugar will still a bit chunky. So we want to give it time to get ready.
Sithule,
Sorry?
just a second. I'm not sure if people added sugar, because I think you mentioned dry ingredients, but I think people might have just put in the salt in there. So is it too late to add the sugar, or can they add it now and give it a quick whisk?
Yes, they can add it now and give it a quick whisk. I did mention the 2 spoons of sugar. But yes, you can still add it now. Sometimes some people like to taste to see if it's to their taste. So it shouldn't be sweet and it shouldn't be too salty. It should be just in the middle for it to be able to blend well with your dish.
I can see Tahira scrambling for the sugar there.
Okay. Right. Okay, so now I'm going to switch on my cookers. So I've got 2 here. One pot is for cooking my mince, and another pot is for cooking my chakalaka. And I've got a 3rd pot where I'm going to cook my fat cooks. So what we can do in the meantime with the fat cooks, you want a smaller pot, so that, because you have to put a lot of oil in it. So because the fat cooks, we deep fry them. So we don't put them in the oven, we deep fry. So you need a smaller pot that you can put on your cooker. And in the meantime, you can turn it on 4 and pour your oil so that it can be heating up. Right, let's see how much oil we need.
So if you can find a pan, guys, that's going to be suitable for deep frying.
Mm-hmm. If you've got a deep fat fryer, that's fine. You can just switch on your deep fat fryer. The reason why I don't use my deep fat fryer for everything is because in my house, we eat different kinds of food. So I don't eat things like beef. So whatever they use to cook that, I can't touch it. So I have to have separate clean oil for everything that I cook, so that I know that it's not been contaminated. Same as why I've got my trays where I put my spoons for cooking. I always have them separate as well, so I don't cross-contaminate my food. And this is also a good practice that is encouraged for people who are cooking for events, because we don't know who eats what, we don't know who is allergic to anything. So our dishes, we always separate our cooking utensils, we separate the oils that we cook them in, except if we're doing something vegetarian, then we know that everything that's vegetarian goes into one oil. If we do white meat like chicken and fish, it goes into one oil. If we're doing red meat like beef, it goes into another oil. As well as there are people who've got, I think it's lactose intolerance, and there are people who don't eat anything that's got carbohydrates, who don't eat flour. So I think it's called gluten-free. So when you're cooking those kind of foods, you also make sure that you don't, you cook them in a separate container so they don't contaminate others as well. Okay, right. So are we all in the same page, or am I leaving people behind?
Well, just let us know how much oil, Sithule, that they need to put in.
Right, it's the cooking oil.
Yeah.
Yep. So I put 3/4 of the cooking oil. That's how small my pot is. Yeah. So 3/4 of the cooking oil is fine. because what we need is to be sure that when we do our fat cooks, they're gonna go deep into the oil. And then you can switch on the cooker. I put mine on 4 so that the oil is heating up, because we need the oil really hot for us to be able to deep fry. Okay. Right, and then I switch on the cooker for my chakalaka and for my mince meat. Right. And then we put oil in both pots. Right, so are we all comfortable with cooking 2 pots at the same time, or should I do 1 at a time? What's best for everyone?
I think maybe one at a time probably would be better, Sithule.
Okay. All right, so we'll start with the chakalaka then. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
So how many?
How many
Right.
spoons of oil you got in there?
Right, I've been counting because my spoon thing is very small. So I use about 4 or 5 oil, but this is olive oil. So if you're using cooking oil, use about 4 spoons. So we wait for our oil to warm up. So I usually use just a tiny piece of my onion to test if my oil is warm enough. So at the moment it's still a bit cold. So we wait. So while we're waiting, guys, feel free to ask me any questions.
I was just going to ask Sithule, so everything should be chopped, the peppers, the onions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're chopping little squares. So this is my onion. I chopped really small. So the size of the chopped onions, it's people's preferences, but I prefer them to be really small. And our peppers, they're also small. Can we see the tiny little squares?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my carrots, they're grated, and I use this side. If you guys have got the same grater as me, I use this round side, bigger round side of the grater to grate my carrots. So the ones that we got today, you can actually grate them. Although you have to be really careful because you might cut your fingers because they're really small. So you can actually grate those carrots.
Hello, Trudy. I have a question. How much oil she said used? 4 spoons or?
Yeah, four spoons of cooking oil or olive oil. And
Yeah.
then
Okay.
heating that up.
All right.
Okay, let's see if our oil is warm. No, my cooker seems to be really slow today. Right, it's coming together. Right, so when the oil is warm, we just put our 1 carrot that has been chopped into the oil.
Onion.
Onion.
Okay.
Sithule, sorry.
And we put our salt. I don't usually tell people how much salt they need to put, so because salt depends on individual taste. So we don't put too much salt, and I don't measure using a spoon. But if I were to measure for my pot today using a spoon, I would use like 1/4 of a teaspoon of my salt.
And are you putting that in there with 1 chopped onion, did you say?
Yes, yes. So we just put it in our pot with our chopped onions, and then we cover our pot for just 2 minutes. while we're covering our pot, we make sure that we've got our mixed peppers. So I've got yellow, I've got red, and I've got my green peppers. I chop them and I put them all in one bowl because they are gonna go into one pot. So while we simmer this for 2 minutes, we make sure we've got the right close to us. You know the cans, the can of beans and the tomatoes, like the can of tomatoes needed opening. So does everybody have their tomatoes open?
Yeah.
Is it just one tin of tomatoes or two, Sithule?
It's one because we're using half and half.
Okay.
So the second one will also depend whether somebody wants their tomatoes a lot more, because some people love tomatoes, some people don't.
Okay.
So, but I prefer to use half of the tomato. Right, so after 2 minutes, we take our mixed peppers and we put them in a pot. And we stir, guys, we make sure we stir. Right, after stirring, we simmer for another 2 minutes.
Are we putting all the peppers in with the onions?
I think so, Jackie.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we put our peppers with the onion. Yeah.
So you're adding, if you missed that, Jacqueline, we're just adding all the mixed peppers in with the onions now.
Yeah, done that.
Lovely.
Okay. Right, so we just need to keep stirring so that we don't burn our food. So we stir, and then we cover again for another 2 minutes.
Can I just ask a quick question?
Of course.
Yes.
You know, because the carrots, our carrots, we've chopped them. So will they not be a bit raw, or should we not add them in now with the vegetables?
No, they'll be fine.
Okay.
Because we don't want them overly cooked anyway, so
Okay,
they'll
that's
be fine.
fine. It's just because you're the greatest and I was the chopped, I think, most of ours.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. Right, so we stir our peppers. Right, so the process of stirring our peppers should take about, I would say 2 to 3 minutes, because we don't want them to be overly cooked as well. So while they're simmering for another minute, we'll have our tomatoes close by next to us here.
You're very fast, so I just cannot reach to you. Very fast. You're doing very fast. So
Am I fast?
Slowly.
Okay.
All right, I'll try and
you're
slow
very fast.
down.
So we have to prepare chopping the onion, and this paper is something. It's for carrots. It's take your time. You know, you're very fast doing so. Can you just?
Okay, sorry. So where are you now?
Yeah,
Mazda, you're very quiet.
Chop it. Yeah, I'm already chopped it. You know, I already chopped it. So I want to just fry it for them. Okay.
I can't hear you very well, Mazda, but just a little bit of a recap on what's happening. One chopped onion.
Okay. All right.
I think you said you are very fast.
Yeah, one chopped onion, and then add your mixed peppers, chopped mixed peppers with the onion, and you just simmer in for 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. And now we need to add our tomatoes. Sorry, if I go any slower, then our pot is going to be overcooked. So now we need to add our tomatoes.
So is that half a tin of chopped tomatoes to add?
Yes, half a tin of chopped tomatoes. We need to add it in, and then we stir. Right. So while this is simmering for another 2 minutes, just make sure you've got your Maggi cubes ready and opened for you. Just 2 of them, not 4. Just 2 Maggi cubes ready on the side. Okay. Okay, and then after a minute we stir. I continually stir my pots because when I'm cooking, I don't want them to burn. You know, some of our pots that we've got at home, if you don't stir, the food at the bottom can easily stick to the pot and burn.
For anybody that might be a
I
little...
will show you guys what the pot should look like in the meantime. Right. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Can you all see what it should be looking like? Yeah?
Yes.
Sithule, for anybody that might be a little bit behind, I'm trying to type up the instructions in the chat function, so you can follow that as well.
Yeah. Okay. So now we need to grab our 2 Maggi cubes. And we add them onto our little stew here. Right, and we stir. Right, and leave it to simmer for a minute.
Okay, can I just 1 second, Sithule. Mazdak?
Yeah.
I just need to speak to Mazdak. Mazdak, can you hear me?
Okay.
I don't think... Oh, dear.
Oh, maybe that's why he's staying behind. Maybe his internet is a bit slow.
I think maybe so. Mazdak?
Okay. So we can, after a minute, we stir. What we can do now is, right, if you want to be using 2 different plates on your stove, like now I'm using this plate, and I've got that plate where I want to put my pot to simmer, so I can use the same plate here to cook my mince. So I will turn on the cooker at the back so that it heats up in the meantime. And when you're simmering, you lower your heat. So I usually lower my heat to 2. So I'll put on my cooker at the back, the plate to be on 2. Yeah. So now we have our carrots ready and waiting for us. For while we simmer for another minute.
Mazdak?
Okay. Right, now, once I've stirred, I'm making sure that my Maggi cubes that I put in here, they've mixed and they're everywhere in my dish. I then take my carrots and I add them onto my dish.
Okay, so we're adding the carrots.
Yes. We're adding carrots. And then we stir to make sure that the carrots, they go everywhere. Some people love a lot of carrots. I just love the medium-sized carrots. But if you are that kind of a person who loves carrots, you can put as much carrots as you like, as long as they're not gonna overwhelm the beans though. Okay, and then we let it simmer for just 1 minute. Because we don't want our carrots to be overcooked. We still want to feel that taste of a bit of crunchiness.
I'm going to try and call Mazdak, because Mazdak, if you can hear me, can you call me?
Yeah,
Give me...
I do. I hear you. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think I lost some of them in process, so because it was very fast, so until I just do it is. But I already to add the carrot as well. Already add the carrot as well.
Okay, so Mazdak, you should have 1 onion chopped in a pan.
Yeah, I already made.
Yeah. Then your peppers.
Yeah, I did. It's just like that. So
Your peppers are in there. Brilliant. Have you put the 2 Maggi cubes in?
Right.
Have you put the 2 cubes in?
Right.
Yeah,
so now.
Yeah, I did as well. That one.
Okay.
Yeah, until now is I'm okay.
Sorry, Trudy, I will have to intervene.
No, it's okay. I was just checking it was at the same point as everybody else, but I think it is.
Yeah, that's fine. So now we pour in our beans, our tin or can of baked beans.
Okay.
All of them in. And then we stir. So at this stage, you can actually take a little bit to taste to see if your dish is to your taste. If not, then you can add a little bit more salt, or you can add another cube of Maggi. Mine is exactly where I want it to be. How is yours, guys?
Tastes all right?
Perfect.
Julie, can I ask you, why have you put baked beans? Because it's an interesting combination with baked beans. It was quite. I thought. Just wanted to know why baked beans are not the other kind of bean.
Well, I don't know. To be honest, we've always cooked and put in baked beans because the other types of beans, they're actually overwhelming in taste. So if you add them to these, they take away the taste of what we want our chakalaka to be like. Yeah. So there is, after simmering for a minute, we've got this chili powder only for those who like to eat spicy food. So if you like to eat spicy food, you can put the amount that you like. I don't put mine too much because my kids eat and my kids don't like spicy food. So I just put a tiny drop. Usually if I'm measuring with a teaspoon, I use even less than a quarter of a teaspoon. So I don't know what I call that. So you can now add a bit of your chili. And some people love to use fresh chilies. You know those fresh pepper that we get from the store. Right, so now we can either move our pot to the low heat plate, because now our dish is done. We just need to simmer it for another 5 minutes on a very low heat. So it's either you move it to the low heat cooker or you lower down the cooker where your dish is and put it as low as 2.
Perfect. So is
right? Are we happy with that one, guys?
Is that the shakalaka part, Sithule?
That is the chakalaka done. Yes, that's our chakalaka part done.
Brilliant.
How is our oil?
Shakalaka again. Say shakalaka again.
Sorry.
I like it when Trudy says it's Sithule.
Shakalaka.
Okay. Right, how is our oil?
Okay.
Okay, so, right, let's see. Right, mine is a little bit, right. Is our oil hot enough now? Because we can either do this fat cooks or do the mincemeat. How is everybody's oil?
I think it's hot. Yes, it's hot.
Is there a test you can do, Sithule?
Yeah, if you just take your mixer and just put it on, if it sizzles, then it shows that your oil is ready. And then we can just give our flour a little bit another whip to make sure that everything gets mixed as well. Right, and then I'll put that over there and over to the front. Right. Right, so what we need to do now is we get a spoon and then you get another holy spoon full of holes. So this spoon is for you to be able to dig out your fat cooks as they cook. and fork as well. Some people have got forks that they use to cook. I just use my normal fork. The reason why I need another fork is so that sometimes these fat cooks can be lighter for my oil. Then I can be able to use my fork to push them down so that they get cooked all the time. My tablespoon is for measuring the amount of dough that I want in my oil. Right. Is everyone ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So it's just why we just put in 1 tablespoon at a time. Right. So we just let it fall in. Right. I'm going to try and see if I can make you guys see what I'm doing. Right. So I've got my flour in my spoon. And then I'll just let it fall in into my pot. Just like that. Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. So I can put, with my little pot, I can put about 4 spoons.
I am still typing in the chat function if people are missing some instructions.
All right, thank you, Trudy. And then it's worth to check and see if you still got some more space, because sometimes our pots are big enough, we can have enough space to put in another spoon of our dough. Right. So as it cooks, I'll try and pull you in, guys, to see. Can you see it's rising a little bit?
Yep.
Already. So we need to be able, if it sticks together, just use your fork to separate them, because you don't want them to stick together. So we can be turning them like this, so that we make sure that they cook all sides. So you see what I said, that the buns, they don't sit in the flour, they come up. Yeah.
Nice.
So it's are you all right?
I think mine are cooked already. My oil must be very hot.
That is so good. If they're looking, we want them to be a little bit brown.
The brown?
Perfect. Maybe your oil is a bit too hot. You might want to turn your oil a bit down, because you
Turn
don't
it
want them to
down,
brown quickly before they.
Sithule. Sithule.
Done.
Gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I still on, Trudy?
I can't see. Oh, there you are. I can see you again now.
1 second. Am I still on?
Yes.
On my little phone as well?
No, just the iPhone's gone off.
All right, because it became too hot. It was near the cooker and it became too hot.
Health and safety.
That is mental. Right, so I'll quickly do this one. I get my little girl to come and help me out. Right, can you see me? Toto? Toto? Just 1 second.
Okay, while Sithule is gone, for those that are new to Zoom, if you play around with your speaker view,
My phone, because I need to make it on my phone.
you can make it so Sithule's screen is actually
My phone is
the
going
full
to
screen of yours. If you on just a click of the button.
Right. Oh, dear God. Right. Oh, sorry guys, it's now a little bit chaotic. So we need like a strainer like this, so that when your buns are cooked, you just put them in the strainer and then you put another lot. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you put in your cooked buns into the strainer.
Because of the chaos with the phone, and it actually not turned mine for them to cook on the other side. Right.
I know, but it was like vegetable.
Okay. Hurry up, Toto. We're a bit. Right. So I'll bring this closer to you guys in a minute.
Looking good, Mazdak.
I'm not going to lie, Trudy. Mine tastes great.
Yeah.
By the way, Sithule, Anthony is a vegan, so he's doing his own vegan version of this.
Right, guys, so our buns should be coming out of our cooker by now. Right, so
How's everyone's tasting?
Nice.
and we just tasted it.
Yeah.
Right, so this is what our buns should look like. Can we see?
Yeah, wow.
There's
Sithule,
mine.
Yes.
You can see mine.
just mute one of your either your iPhone or your iPad because there seems to be a bit of resistance.
Have we what?
Sorry for what?
She's using both hands.
Yeah,
I'm using both.
Mute
Yeah.
one of them because it was a bit echoey. That's all.
Oh yeah, I've switched it off now.
Thank you, Sithule.
Let's have a look at your buns, Mark.
Right. Let's
Here
have
we
a
go.
look at the buns, guys.
I can't see anybody's buns.
Do you want to see mine?
Go on then,
I'll
Jacqueline.
look at
Yeah,
I don't
everybody's
know how.
buns.
Do I have to put myself into the big picture? I don't know how you get to see them. How do you get
It's
to?
all right. If you just
You
keep
just lift them,
talking,
lift them up, Jacqueline, to your screen. I should. There you go. Yeah. Oh wow.
They look all right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Look at that.
Right. Oh, I'm not.
Perfect. Perfect. So we can keep cooking our buns until we've run out of our flour from our bowls.
All right. That's all.
Then we can move on to cooking our mincemeat. They're watching you. Remember this camera? I can see all the way. Should have joined cooking class, Mrs.
So,
Right.
Sithule, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
What does this dish mean to you?
Wow. This dish means a lot to me because this is the dish that brings me and my family together. Taught it to my girls and they love it so much that every time when we cook it together. It somehow became like a family thing. You know, when you've got a family, unspoken family tradition. So whenever we're coming together with my children or my sisters, we just say, oh, if I say I'm coming to your house, the next thing we get all the ingredients for the chakalaka and then we cook it together. So to me, this dish means my family. It means enjoying time and spending time with my family. And it is very nice when I'm having it like with a barbecue as well, because you can have it with just barbecued meat and your chakalaka and your buns. So yes, it is our special dish. Right, so for our chakalaka that we're simmering, it should be done by now. So we should turn it off or remove it from your cooker completely so that we do not overcook it. You can just turn it. Right, I'm gonna try and move my phone closer, but as far as I possibly can, for you guys to see what the chakalaka looks like. Right, can we see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's a lot more.
Is a lot what, sorry?
Mine's a lot more runnier than that.
It's a bit more runnier. Maybe it's because your carrots are not grated, but it should taste all right. It should taste fine. Right.
I'm gonna
Now remove that. Right. I need to tin my buns now. Make sure they cook on the other side. Right, so like you said, what the dish means to me, I don't know whether you saw my little girl when she came in, the first thing she did was, Mommy, can I steal your buns? That's how much this dish means to us as a family. Right. Right, my buns are nearly ready. How are yours, guys? What's your second look look like?
Mine is done.
Perfect.
Just as well, in case anybody missed it, Sithule did say to take your shakalaka off the hob and put it to one
Yeah.
side.
Okay.
I've removed some of my juice. I've sorted it. I've strained it. I've just strained it off.
Okay.
Strained some of it off, so a lot of the juice has gone now, so it looks a lot more like that.
Perfect.
Improvisation.
Yes, we always have to improvise.
Right, so that's off.
Perfect. Right. Okay, my buns are playing up. They don't want to turn. When I turn them, they keep coming back. Right. So sometimes when you're turning your buns, you meet this challenge whereby when you're turning them, they come back. So you can actually use another spoon or another fork to balance them, because they really are light and fluffy. But you want the outside to be crunchy. So they're crunchy outside, but they're light and fluffy inside.
Cooking longer then.
Okay. And for sometimes I use my paper towel to drain the oil because, but they shouldn't have too much oil. That's how good these buns are. They don't suck the oil at all. Oil just helps to cook them, but they don't suck it. So you are not supposed to find any oil inside your buns at all with this type of buns. Right. Can we see, guys?
Yep.
Perfect. Right, so I think I've got my last 2 spoons in my bowl.
Julie, I've got a question, if you don't mind.
Yes, sure, I don't mind.
So I forgot to mention before we started cooking that obviously this whole session and the next 3 weeks are all part of our kind of interfaith celebrations, as it was Interfaith Week last week. And I think, you know, it's really valuable to learn about different cultures, different backgrounds, and different faiths as well. I just wondered if you mind sharing kind of your faith with the group of people cooking, and talk to us a little bit about what it means to you.
Okay. All right. So I am a Christian, and right, I come from a family of Christians as well, but my family has got a mixture of cultures. Some are Christians, some are atheists. So when I say atheist, is that they don't believe in Christianity. They believe in the universe, to say that we are here because of the universe. But most of my family members, they also believe in what's called the ancestors. So ancestors, it means that we value our families that passed away, like our great-grandparents, those that we never met, our grandparents. So we value them so much that some people in our family groups, they've got what we call a calling, whereby some ancestors that passed away visits them. They use their body as the vessel to reach out to the world. Like if there's any messages or if there's any celebrations that the families are doing, so that person will be like an angel sent by them to come and give the family a message from our great-grandparents that passed away. And we also believe that those families of us that passed away, they protect us in this world. So, but in my own family, so that is me, my children, and my husband, we are Christians. We believe in the Bible. So although we still don't look down on any other cultures that we don't follow. So we still respect other people's cultures. We still respect that We've got people in our families who follow our ancestors. We respect that. We've got people in our community who are Muslims. So we do visit other cultures as well. So for me, culture is very important. It doesn't matter what I believe. It doesn't matter who I believe. What matters to me is the respect that I give to everybody that has got a different culture to mine, because that means that they are also human beings. So they don't have to be somebody from my culture for me to actually talk to the person, or for me to actually respect that person. I talk to anybody. I value everybody because we are all human beings. But culture is very important in my own little circle. That doesn't mean that I have to inflict it on someone else, because I have to respect what they believe in, as well as I would expect that everybody else does respect what other people believe in, even if they don't believe in it themselves. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, yeah, of course it does.
Yeah, right. So moving on, guys, have we cooked all our buns? Is all our flour exhausted?
Yeah.
Perfect. So now we're moving on to cook our last dish, and that is our mincemeat. So we put in our cooker the mincemeat, because the chicken is usually dry. So we try and put a bit more oil so that it doesn't stick to the bottom of the cooker. So you can even use the oil that you use to cook your buns, because that oil is already hot, so you don't have to wait for it to heat up. So I'll get my spoon, and then I will get the oil from my cooker. So this whole point is so that we do not waste anything, guys, because sometimes people, when they use oil, they throw it away. But no, we don't throw it away. We have to reuse it for other things. And for the cross-contamination that I spoke to you about, if I am cooking for like an event, I will not use that oil, because I've already cooked something that other people might not eat. So I'll have to use my fresh bottle of oil, either my olive oil or my vegetable oil, for me to cook this dish. So we get our oil, and then we put our mincemeat. If your oil is not warm enough, you have to wait for it to warm too, and then you put a tiny piece of your mincemeat to make sure that your oil is heated enough. Yeah, right. I'll put my dish in the sink. In case you didn't realize, I keep washing my hands. I think I've got a phobia of hands washing. So it's always advised to always make sure that whenever you're cooking, you wash your hands in order to prevent the contamination. So mincemeat needs to be turned when you put it in, so that it does not stick to the bottom of your cooker. Right. Then we've got our salt. Let's not forget our magic salt, guys. So we put in half a teaspoon. And then we simmer for 2 minutes. So what I always do as well when I'm cooking, I always clean as I go along. So now that the other dishes I'm finished with, I have to take away all these other utensils that I was using to clean them and put them in the sink.
And can I just ask you a question?
Yes.
Sorry, and just a question for Ant.
Okay.
I'm intrigued to know what alternative he's using, because Ant follows a vegan diet. So.
Right.
I've literally just gone out and bought some sort of bread, some really nice bread for the buns bit. I was gonna sort of try and do an alternative, but I've just not had time, unfortunately, Sithule, so I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. No, that's fine.
Mint,
right.
We can buy vegan mince from a shop.
Yeah.
If you ever do want to buy some, just check, because I know a lot of people buy Quorn but don't realise that Quorn actually has egg in it, so make sure it's a vegan one. But I'm trying to be a little bit healthier because my partner's also vegan, and she's the backbone of what we do to cook. So we've tried, what I've done today is I've blended up some mushrooms.
Okay.
So they just look a bit mincy, and I'm going to fry them off the same way. So
yeah, oh, that is a good idea. And for the chakalaka, if somebody is vegan, then use all, because everything is vegetables in there, is to avoid maybe the baked beans, because I don't know what ingredients are in it. So you can just do your chakalaka minus the baked beans. And yeah. And for the buns, you can maybe not put an egg and put baking powder instead, so that they can raise to be fluffy.
I'm definitely going to try and find an alternative, because the buns you made look great. So I'm going to try and see if I can do an alternative.
Okay,
Let
perfect.
you know how we get on.
All right, love, that's good. Right, so we need to keep stirring our mince meat, guys, to make sure that it doesn't burn and it doesn't stick to the bottom. And when we're stirring, just try to separate it, not too much, but try to separate it so it doesn't become massive chunks. Okay. And then we cover it.
So, Sithule,
yes, love.
You're a woman of many jobs, aren't you? You're an immigration advisor.
Yes.
But also, you run an organisation called Mama Africa. I wondered if you could tell us a little bit more about Mama Africa.
Okay, Mama Africa is an organization for women who come from the African background. So what we do is to help them to integrate in the society, like showing them around, helping them to get into schools, helping them to get jobs, and to support them with anything that they would come to us to ask for. So we've done references, we've helped them to gain training, like food and hygiene training. We've helped them to do the first aid training, and we've helped them to also link to other organizations that do different activities like yourselves. At one time we had exercise session provided by Rotherham United. We helped them to link with RIMA, who also gets them to do different trainings. We've done a session, like in the past month, we did a session with the council, whereby they did an event, and we had our women to go and talk to the Black women in England, who are very inspirational. So as Mama Africa, we are there to support and represent African women. So although our group works mainly with women, we do support men as well, which is where Immigration Advice was born from. So that we're able to then support people who've got no statuses, but then that one then became open to anybody. They don't have to be from African heritage, it can be anyone. So I work with that one, we do it in partnership with RIMA. So we keep stirring, guys, because now our mince meat would have produced a little bit of water, so we want that water to burn. Right, so we check and close. Right, yeah, so as Mama Africa, that is basically what we do. So we had Immigration Advice born out of Mama Africa to support a wider community, not just for the African women, but for anybody who is struggling with their immigration. And we don't now just work with people in Rotherham. We've had people contacting us from London, from Manchester, so from all over the country. And then out of Mama Africa again, I also started another organization for young people called Young Minds Together. So Young Minds Together is like a performing arts organization where young people come together to dance. They come together to learn to sing and to act, and through that, that's where we also promote culture into our society by teaching our young people about different cultures.
She froze on yours, Anne. Has anybody else lost Sithule, or is it just me?
No, I've lost her.
I've lost her as well.
was right in the flow of things. Keep stirring your mince, guys. That's all. That's the only advice I can give. I'll try and give them a call. Oh. It's just dropped off. How's everybody's dishes looking? Are they looking pretty much done?
Yeah.
Yeah. How does it smell?
Lovely.
Yeah. Good. How are you getting on
Looks like
now?
I've been talking to myself all this time.
Yes, sorry, Sithule, we lost you.
Right. Did you hear me, Trudy? Because it looks like my phone gone off again.
You went off when you was just telling us about Young Minds Together, being a performing arts and dance and singing.
Oh, right. Right. So, like what I was saying, Young Minds is an organization for young people that also was born from Mama Africa to support young people and help them to grow their confidence through acting, singing, and dancing, and to support them, because we know a lot of our young people, they also suffer from bullying. So we train them to be anti-bullying ambassadors, and we also train them to do a lot in the society, like to have friends and to gain confidence. So what we do with the adults from Young Minds, that's what we do with the young people from Mama Africa.
And they did a performance a few times at half-time at the Rotherham United games. That's the same group?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, we did. And they're always asking, when is it happening again? So I suppose when lockdown is over and football comes back, we will definitely be back.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
we do invite any young person to come and join our young people for the dancing. At the moment, we do dance sessions on a weekend, on Saturdays from 11 till 1. So if anybody has got a young person that's interested as well, let me know. And then I will join in. I'll send you.
Sithule.
My phone struggles from the heat near the cooker. So I might have to be going to be cooking and then bring it here. So I don't know. Can you see me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we need to check if our pot is doing all right. 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 Is everybody's mince still have got water in it?
What?
Your mince meat, is it still got water in it?
Yes.
Tiny bit.
Yes, some people's does have, Sithule.
Sorry?
Some people's mince has still got water in.
Okay, all right, and mine too. So we just have to wait for the water to finish, yeah? So what we can do in the meantime, our frozen vegetables, we can be washing them so that we take away the frost.
Okay, so wash, Mazda, you need to be washing your frozen vegetables.
Yeah. So
How much?
How much do we need?
Right, so we need like a half a little bowl. You know the bowl that we use to eat cereal?
Half a cereal bowl.
Yeah.
Half a cereal bowl.
One like that?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Plenty of vegetables in this dish anyway.
Getting there by now. Right. The water should be going down, guys. Is everybody's also water going down?
Yeah.
Perfect. Right, when the water has gone down, now we need our onion. So with the full onion, depending on the size of the mincemeat, you can either put the whole onion or you put half of your onions because you don't want the onion to overwhelm the mincemeat.
You've got it.
So your second onion, guys, is
All right?
the second onion. This is where that comes in. So
Yes. Yeah, that's the second onion, yeah.
we're mixing it in with the mincemeat.
So we put it in now, the chopped onion. There. Then let it simmer for a minute.
It's a good job I can chop quick. How'd you do, mine?
Right, so we need to stir our pot again.
We have only just got the onion in, haven't we?
Just
Yes.
with a mince, I think.
Yeah. We've not put his veg in yet, have we?
I don't think so, Jacqueline.
It's all right because I had to chop an onion. Because I used it all in the other. Pretty in. I'm quick.
We've just seemed to have lost Sithule for a second.
Right,
One gone again.
Ah, she's back.
Okay,
Sithule,
I'm back now. Yep.
we're just checking. We're just adding the onion to the mince at the moment, yeah?
Yes, we're just adding onions at the moment. And we have to stir so that our pot doesn't stick. Right. Okay. So if you stirred twice, like for 2 minutes, then we add our tomatoes, our half a can of tomatoes.
Okay, so half a can of tomatoes now getting added to the mince and onions.
Yes. And then we need to stir. Right, so our pot should be looking like that. Can we all see?
Yep.
Yeah. Perfect. Oops, daisy. Right, and then we cover and let it simmer for a minute. Charger is not going in. What's happened?
What's going in?
Ah, no, I thought I had gone off. Okay.
Oh, she's back.
Right, perfect. Right, so after 1 minute, we stir.
So you should just be stirring your mince, onions and half a tin of tomatoes.
Yes. then at this point, you can taste for flavor as well.
Or
I love testing as I go along. But then the final testing is after you put in your Maggi cubes, because you need to be sure that your food is not going to be too salty. Right, so while we're waiting for it to simmer for another minute, we just have to make sure we've got our Maggi cubes ready and open, ready to put in.
How many? 2.
Sorry?
Is it 2?
Yes,
Is it
2.
2?
Yes, 2 Maggi
Sorry,
cubes.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
okay. Right, after a minute, we then open. So once we've stirred now, we then add our Maggi cubes. Right, I love breaking my Maggi cubes when I'm putting them in, because then it makes it easier for them to melt really quicker. Then we stir. Right, give it a minute while I go wash my hands. Right, so in case you guys haven't realized, I don't use a lot of spices. So food from the Southern Africa, we don't use a lot of spices. So normally we use salt, we use black pepper, and then we use the chili, this one, either grounded or crushed or fresh. That's the main Southern African dishes we use. But as you go up north in Africa, that's where they use a lot of spices, a lot of curries, because even when we are cooking, if we're gonna put curry, it's just a little bit, it's not too much. But we have also adopted other people's style of cooking, because as we all know, the more you travel, the more you discover some lovely dishes from all over the world. So we do use spices, but we will be cooking like the Northern African dish. The Southern African dish, we don't use a lot of spices. We just use mainly our salt and our black pepper. Right, so we stir one more time. And now you can actually taste to make sure that the food is to your taste. If it's not, then you can add a little bit more salt, or you can add 1 more cube of Maggi. Mine is perfect. So 1 more minute, and then we add our vegetables. How is yours, guys?
Very nice.
Good. Perfect. Thank you very much. Right, so our 1 minute is there. And then we add our vegetables, our half a bowl of vegetables. Now, once you've added your vegetables, and then you have to lower your heat to the lowest heat you can have. I usually use 2, and then we can simmer for another 5 to 10 minutes, and our dish will be done. Those who don't like really soft vegetables, you can simmer for 5 minutes, and your dish will be done.
That's it.
Okay. Right, so at this stage, that's when we do our clearing up. of all the other dishes, of all the other utensils that we've used, and tidy up, getting ready to serve our food. And what I normally do as well when I'm cooking, I always cook all 3 dishes at the same time. So that's why I said to you guys, we should be done within an hour. So I apologize that it's taken us over an hour because we had to do each dish one at a time. But sometimes the buns, you can do them in the end, but the 2 dishes, the chakalaka and the mincemeat, you can actually cook them together. Because if you realize, it took us a while for our mincemeat to actually burn all the water that it had made inside it. So while the mincemeat is cooking and getting rid of the water, you could be frying your chakalaka. And then that way, you'll see that your dish will be ready within 45 minutes to 1 hour.
Thanks, Sithule.
Okay. Right. I'm gonna stir one more last time. Right, because I love my vegetables really crunchy. The other thing you can do to simmer your dish when you feel that, okay, now it's cooked and it's ready, it's just to switch off your cooker and leave it on the hot plate, because then it will still be cooking because the plate is hot. Right, now I'll move on to my final stage. Are we all together, guys?
Yeah.
Perfect. Now we've got our final stage, and that is serving our food.
What?
Serving the food.
Serving our food. So I've got my tongue that I use for my, and then I've got my chakalaka, my spoon of chakalaka.
I think if you show us your finished dish and how it should be presented, Sithule.
Yes, definitely, I will. And then I've got my mincemeat. That's it. Right, and sometimes the mincemeat, some people like to fry it until it browns, but mine, I just love to get rid of the water because I know then that it's cooked, so I don't need to fry it until it browns. Right. This is my final dish, guys. Can we see?
Wow, that looks amazing.
Have a look again.
Yeah.
Lovely. Right, so
That's it. So can I see all your dishes? I want to see that. Did we do a good job or did we do a good job today? if you can.
Oh, wow,
take
there's
a
Aunt's
picture.
vegan version. That looks nice.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's beautiful.
Is there any chance, guys, where we could all take a picture of our dish and maybe send it to Trudy's email so we could post them as well? Because I think some of them are looking great.
Yes. Oh, wow, that is gorgeous.
Wow, Becky looks good.
Wow. That is lovely, Becky.
And Mazdak?
And Mazdak, wow. Oh, look at that. Beautiful.
Guys, if you've got a well, you will have my.
Oh, look at that.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Thank you, guys. That looks beautiful. Who have you not seen yet?
Oh, Jacqueline's is, she's holding it up.
Oh, Ayan. Oh, wow.
Amazing.
Amazing.
okay.
Oh, wow, Jacqueline, that's beautiful. Oh,
Thank
wow.
you.
And
It smells divine.
Tahira, play me some up, please. I'll pick it up tomorrow.
Yes, you can. I'll give you some.
Can it be frozen?
Yes. Sorry, I didn't get that question.
Can it be frozen?
Yes, it can be frozen. You can freeze it and eat whenever. When it's cooked, it can last up to 3 days in the main fridge. And then when frozen, it can last up to 2 to 3 months. Yeah.
It's all right, I'm on my own today.
All right. The only thing you can't freeze are the buns, though, because when you freeze them, when you defrost, they become soft and soggy.
No, no.
Let's have a look at mix.
Yeah. Let's
Wow.
see.
Beautiful.
Oh, wow. Beautiful.
Okay, what I'm going to say, guys, is obviously we don't want to keep you too long because you're going to be wanting to eat your meals.
Yes.
So my telephone number is on the bottom of the email that I've been sending you. If you don't mind dropping me a photo of your finished dish, that would be much appreciated.
Well done.
And I'd just like to say a very special thank you for Sithule for doing our first session. And enjoy your meals, everybody.
Oh, thank you guys for cooking with me and enjoying your meals. Hopefully I'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
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 See you next week, guys.
Bye.